Lee Payne, first of all, thanks for joining Metal Express Radio, and congratulations with an excellent comeback album with Cloven Hoof.
Hey, thank you very much. We really appreciate it. It's great to be on Metal Express Radio because it's just an amazing website and plays great metal music, so it's an honour for us to be on the show.
It has been 17 years since one of your finest moments, Sultan's Ransom. Why did it take so long for you to come out with a new album?
It is a long time, isn't it, really? Really, we've been dogged by the most dreadful legal problems throughout the sort of band's history. It stems back way back to when the opening Ritual came out, and we were like number 18 in the heavy metal charts. And the big sort of record labels came in for us, and our manager, who we had at the time, was called David Hemmings. And he managed Judas Priest and Black Sabbath and Pat Travers and bands like that. And unfortunately, he died during negotiating with various people. And so it just left us with loads of legal hassles. So every time we brought out an album and everything was going really, really well, all these sort of legal sort of parasites had come out of the woodwork and try and get a piece of the band. So in the end, we just got so fed up of everyone kind of spoiling everything that we just decided to ride out the contract after Sultan's Ransom. And as soon as we're free from those ties, we were always going to come back and make another album, and the band will be free to sort of build on its success and get on with it, having a successful career. And so we're free of those ties now, and that's why we sort of made Eye of the Sun. So it's just really good to be back.
So that actually took 17 years for...
Yeah, it's unbelievable. We got held by... They had an option on theirs to keep renewing the contract. And we were hoping that somebody in the office would forget to renew the contracts and everything, and that's exactly what happened. So as soon as he got free, I started working on the songs for Eye of the Sun about 4 years ago. So it's taken us 4 years to get everything absolutely perfect because there was such massive expectations for us that the new album just had to be perfect. So I wanted Tom Galley. I've been trying to get Tom Galley to produce us since 1984, would you believe? And for the first time, he was completely free, and he loved the songs. So we just decided that we're just going to make it the best-sounding Cloven Hoof album ever, because the fans deserve it after waiting for us for so long.
Before the current lineup, you first reunited with the vocalist and the guitarist from the Dominator and the Sultan's Ransom lineup.
That's right, and the drummer as well, John Brown, yeah.
This was my favorite lineup. What happened with those guys? I mean, you started playing, you actually did some gigs together as well?
That's right. Well, basically what happened after I demoed up the album, and through all this period, I mean, Russ the singer, he's just like my brother, and he's my best friend, and not only is he the most amazing vocalist, but, he's a great frontman. And we've just stayed sort of best friends right from day one, really. Russ helped me demo up the album. Because he was living in Spain, it made it very, very difficult for Russ to commit himself 100% to the band, and 100% we expect no less, really. But what he decided to do was give it a go, and we'll do a couple of warm-up shows just to see how we all felt about getting back together again. And that included all the guys who were on Sultan's Ransom and Dominator. So I got Andy Wood together and the drummer and said, let's do a couple of shows and see how we feel. And if we can all, we've all got enough commitment and can put the time and do the project justice, then we'll carry on. So we did a gig in Athens, I believe. Yeah, it was in Athens in Greece. And it was an incredible show, and everybody went crazy, and everyone enjoyed it. And then we did the Keep It True Festival in Germany, which was amazing as well, and we all loved it. But unfortunately, it all boiled down to the commitment end, and really with the guitar player and the drummer and everything, they had other commitments, and they couldn't really give 100% to it. And Russ was over in Spain. Russ was really wanted to do it, because like Cloven Hoof, he was a big fan of the band before he even joined, really. And but the thing he had sort of ties to do with his singing career over in Spain, which he can't give 100%, even up to this day. But Russ would definitely have been on this album if he was free from those ties. So, it would be nice. I mean, in the future, I would imagine, Russ will be rejoining us on on some future albums because, we still work together a lot, whenever we can, and Russ, he's just totally into the band, really. It's just his personal commitment over in Spain, really, where he lives.
What did the band sound like now compared to back then? I mean, I guess you all have matured since then. Did the old Cloven Hoof classics sound the same, or was there...
That's a great question too. Well, basically, what we wanted to do really with the new album is we wanted to keep the integrity of the music and make it a definite Cloven Hoof album, because we've got our own sort of identity of sound, and we didn't want to lose that. But what we wanted to do is enhance it and give it a real modern production kind of cutting edge and attitude. So that's what we have, and like these days, I think I'm probably writing it's more sort of anthem choruses, really. But it's still the same Cloven Hoof song, but sort of tightened up and more sort of layered. And Tom Galley was great for doing that, because with songs I get that many ideas and loads and loads of musical progressions. Tom was really good at sort of refining that and sort of stripping the sound down. So in the old days, we used to do sort of an album. We could get it done in about a week. We used to record the whole thing in a week, and I'd put the bass down in a day, and because we were so well rehearsed. But this time we were so meticulous about making it as powerful as we could that we put all the time, and we used to take a week over just putting down the bass for one song. So that was how much we wanted it to be perfect, this time around. And so that's the difference this time, I think. The Cloven Hoof Stout is much more sort of stripped down to make it more concise and hard hitting, I guess. So hopefully the old fans will still stick with us, and we'll get a whole lot of new fans too.
Your die-hard fans, they probably know the title track of your new album, Eye of the Sun, is an old track that was on the Fighting Back live album. Are the rest of the songs new, or do any of them go back to the old days that you didn't record then? Yeah,
that's a good question too. Funnily enough, all the ones on Eye of the Sun, in the end, there was only Eye of the Sun, the title track, and we give it a new sort of, brought it more sort of up to date and made it more hard hitting. But all the other songs are completely new. There are two songs which we did on the session as well, which were very, very good, and I hope we can bring them out at some point later on. One called Freak Show and one called Running Man, which were two really good Cloven Hoof songs, but it was felt that we should save them for later on. But they were written like way back, during the time of Sultan's Ransom, and we kind of revamped them. But they were written back then, but they weren't on the new album. Either Sun is the only one really that wasn't new, because all the new songs, they're all very sort of current, really, with Inquisitor and everything.
Did you ever consider to bring back some of the really old members from your very first releases? I mean, you had two different vocalists before Russ joined the band.
Also a good question. To be absolutely honest, it was only just before going into the studio with Eye of the Sun. I rang up the old guitarist Steve Rounds, who appeared on the very first Cloven Hoof album, and he was just such an amazing player. And it would have really suited his style. But that's another thing for the future, I guess. Like at the moment, he can't, he's got too many commitments at the moment. But it'd be nice if Steve Rounds appeared later on, like Russ will. And it's quite good really, because that way you get the sort of the old approach, but you can mix it with the modern production, because I would have loved to heard those the past albums with the production we've got today. because I think we would have done things slightly differently.
Before I heard the album, I was kind of disappointed to see that there were only a few left from the first albums. But of course, it's a great album, and now I'm happy anyway. How did your old fans react to that? That Lee Payne is the only one left.
Well, I guess kind of, it's we haven't really been that lucky having the with a stable lineup. And like the old, like the first album onwards. I mean, all the personnel were really great players. It's just it's unfortunate that in this business, because of the legal nonsense we went through, it just depends how you take it. Some people are strong enough to carry on and keep on fighting, and and others kind of fall by the wayside. And but the thing is, I think this is all about having total belief in what you're doing and, playing from the heart. And a lot of the time I've been the last man standing anyway, really, like from the first album. And, you just have to just keep on going because, I write for the fans as well, and they'll be disappointed if I don't keep the band sort of moving forward. So there's nothing wrong with any of the personnel playing-wise. It was just the legal problems. It's a shame that happened to us. But, I think it's generally accepted that, Cloven Hoof won't change all that much because even from the early days, I kind of write all the songs. So fundamentally, it's always going to kind of sound like Cloven Hoof, really, as long as I'm kind of writing them. But of all the people, it's got to be Russ's fabulous voice. I kind of miss the most because, I think Russ's voice is very, very distinctive. And that's not saying Matt hasn't done a great job, and he obviously has done an amazing job. And the whole new band are just fantastic players. They're just so together in the studio, and they've got a wealth of stage experience that it's all working out really, really well. It's just that Russ's voice had a unique sort of sound, and I still kind of miss him.
I totally agree. So you said that the old guys played on the demos for this album, so that's
right.
So you have recordings with Russ singing those tracks?
Yeah, that's a good thing, really. I mean, I don't know what's going to happen later on. Like when we have very, very good recordings of two tracks which were great, Freak Show and Running Man, which didn't make its way onto Either Sun. So we've got those. So you never know. It might be quite nice to bring out an archive album because we've got a lot of songs which were great, and I'm sure the fans will really, really like them. It would be nice at some point to bring out just an archive album because we've easily got enough for a very, very good archive album, featuring the Dominator lineup with Russ and everything on. So we'll just have to see, if Either Sun does well enough, then that could be another project for the future, couldn't it?
You're probably or for sure have a lot of new fans when this album is coming out. Have your old fans been getting in touch with you now that it's known that the band will be releasing another album?
Oh yeah, I'd really like to mention them anyway. They've been incredible. It's like through all the years when we were waiting for this contract trouble to sort of end, it's just been a constant stream of fan letters and emails hoping the band kind of reform and everything, and they've just been amazing. It doesn't matter how sort of down you get, you've only got to read those fan mails, and it just motivates you and gets you sort of on the case to try and push the band as much as you can. And they were incredible. I just like this week, it's like all the I've got that many emails. I mean, I've got thousands of them, and all of them have been saying that when they heard the download samples on the Exec Records site, they're really pleased that the band still sounds as powerful, as vital as ever, because they were a bit nervous, without Russ, on there. And it's understandable, but I haven't had one email yet which didn't say that Matt did a great job. Everybody really likes what we've done, really. So fingers crossed everybody will like it just as much.
Now that this new release will gain some more attention for the band, isn't it about time you re-release the old albums, remix them, and put them out on CD?
Yeah, the main criteria. This is going on right now. We're in the process of this. because it's been brought to my attention. I can't believe how much these illegal copies are costing the fans. I mean, it's just terrible. On eBay, I kind of saw there's a copy for the opening ritual going for like £200 English, and Assault and Ransom selling for $300 in America. And you know, it's really upsetting, you know, seeing the fans kind of getting ripped off by these bootleggers. So I pulled out all the stops, and I'm going to get the Assault and Ransom and Dominator and Opening Ritual re-released. Definitely by the end of the year, it'll be out again. And there's also these couple of archive tracks as well on there, which we were talking about, that no one's ever heard of. The two I'm thinking about is there's one called Antimatter Man, and there's one called Tokyo Nights, and they've never been heard before by anyone. But they were recorded at the same session as Dominator, so that'll be on the new re-release album. So what we may have a deal with Escape soon to re-release these two albums as a double package together with these never heard before tracks. So that will be very exciting for fans.
Excellent.
And also, as we speak right now, I've been going over some archive tapes, and we've got some videos of some past concerts that we did, and we'll be re-releasing those as a DVD package soon as well. So it's kind of good news for all the Who fans out there, isn't it? Really
fantastic. Those two tracks you were talking about, were they a part of the Dominator concept, or?
Actually, that's why they didn't appear on there, because Tokyo Nights and Antimatter Man, they were in my initial storyline, because that's how I always work. The songs always start off as like individual little stories, as Dominator was one great big concept piece. It was kind of felt at the end that, you know, we'll leave these two tracks off there because the album's going to be too long. so the Antimatter Man story and the Tokyo Nights story would probably make the album too long, because you're going to lose power because of the grooves in the record. So they were left off, but it'd be really, really nice for them to be grafted on there, and the Dominator story can be sort of seen for the first time, you know, in its entirety, because those two songs were always going to be on the album.
And now that you're rid of all the illegal issues and the new album is finally coming out, do you look upon this as a new era for Cloven Hoof, that this is the first album before, you know, several more quality Cloven Hoof albums?
That's fantastic. That's really good for you to say that. Yeah, that is exactly the case. It is the first time actually the band has a level playing field, because our hands were always tied before. But now there'll be a continuity between all the Cloven Hoof albums. There should be another 4 Cloven Hoof albums, you know, every year now from now on, and we're free of all ties. So now the band can really try and take up where it left off, and try and attain the success it should have got in the first place. Really, because in a lot of ways we were kind of held back. But this is definitely a new era, and I'm sure with people like yourselves and the support of all the metal maniacs out there, it could be some very, very exciting times ahead for the band. It'll be great.